People who left a friendship. What was your breaking point? Realizing I didn't like the person I became when I was around her. Yep, bad people can influence you more than we think. I didn't leave, but I really backed off. I was constantly the butt of the joke. And sometimes these jokes were extremely mean-spirited, but done under the guise of just joking. Quote, and if we didn't love you, we wouldn't mess with you. Quote, well, guess what? I didn't need the toxicity. So I backed way off and stopped taking shit. People who do this think you can't tell the difference between gentle teasing and being an asswith. What they think is a get-out-of-jail-free card. Or maybe they think you won't call them out. Either way, they need to learn where the line is, and if they cross it, let them know, and don't let them do it again. Did that too. It was always jokes that were homophobic. I stopped trying to associate with them, and it was alarming how every conversation they've had with me turns into them making a homophobic remark. Ugh, I have a brother-in-law that is like this. He will say mean shit but means it as a joke. Yeah, fuck you. It may be funny to you, but it is still hurtful. Unfortunately, one of his sons is the same way. I just ignore him now at family gatherings. Just joking always sets me back. I never heard that line from any decent person. Being the only one to make effort in the friendship, I started to do that, but if I complete my mission I think I'll have 0 friends. And realizing that the only time there's an effort on their part is when they want or need something from you. I'm bad about allowing this to happen. Trying to be better. Yup. The weird part was that she was shocked, and horrified, when I finally ended things for good. Even though we'd had multiple fights about it throughout our years-long friendship. Had that happened to me before. Can relate. I can agree. I have a long story still going, but I am too lazy to write it. Skeptical smiley face. This. A bit of a reverse. Here is a friend who hit the breaking point from my shitty behavior. A while ago my partner's daughter passed away and I was having a very hard time dealing with it. I was drinking, mixing meds, generally being a bad friend and self-destructive ass. Most of my friends were very supportive, but one who I had known for almost 10 years flat out told me they had no time or energy to deal with my issues. I tried to keep up the friendship for a while after that, but they ghosted me for months. I asked their wife if I had offended them somehow and she just blocked me. So, yeah, sounds rough. I hope you are doing better. That sounds really tough. She came to a party we invited her to, called the free beer. We offered her piss. When someone went to get refills on alcohol, she didn't pay him back and complained about that alcohol too. Then she insulted the food we had made without eating it, except dessert, which she ate 2 portions of and called it okay. I guess she was a good friend before and I tried to be supportive, but honestly I just didn't know how to cheer her up. She got judgy too. That sucks, mate. That's awful. You said she'd been a good friend before. Do you know what could have caused her to act out this way? Sounds for all the world like someone who is angry about her own life and just taking it out on whomever happened to be in front of her at the time. I'm sorry. One childhood best friend made out with my recently ex-girlfriend of 2.5 years at a party at my house and I walked in on Themis year. I was still very much in love with that girl. And he knew it, but obviously his hormones were worth more than our friendship. 2. High school buddy who joined the army, got a girl pregnant, and married her. When he got out of the army he came back in town with his family. He wanted to go out to bars every night, get blackout drunk, and was always hitting on women. I was like, dude, you are married and have a 2-yo. Time to grow the fuck up. He didn't want to, and I didn't like being around him anymore. 3. Friend I made in my mid-20s. He moved into town to get away from all his meth addict friends. I hung out with him and his family for a few years. Him and his wife, and his oldest child approximately 15-yo, all started using. His oldest had her 19-yo boyfriend move in with them. And apparently this guy was their hookup dealer. Just gross all around. I couldn't stomach it and had to distance myself as they were all about to self-destruct. 4. Helped a lifelong friend who had problems with the law and needed a place to live before a trial of hers was scheduled. I offered her my place. She went back to using heroin when she was staying at my place. And then my house was mysteriously robbed. I ended up having her go back to the detention center to wait for trial there. It was a dramatic event about 10 years ago and we just recently started talking again. But we will never be as close as we were. He talked about this girl he licked, then went on to talk about how he was following her and knew where she lived, all while picking acne off his face and eating it nonchalantly while telling me this like I couldn't see it or just wouldn't care. We were friends for 10 years, but he just got really weird in the last couple years, so I just stopped talking to him this year. I have no words. Licking girls is definitely weird. He ate his acne! Exclamation mark. Question mark. Exclamation mark. Dizzy face. I gasped audibly at that. I was his emotional trash can and he brought his rain cloud of issues with him wherever he walked. Yuck. I felt sick after every time we interacted. Leaving was the best decision. Keep those people away from your life when you're the one who's holding it together. How good do you really feel? True friendship is like a good handshake. Both people raise their hand for them to meet halfway. I'm 34 and realize that all of my friends are raging alcoholics. I love them all, but the way we are together doesn't fit with my lifestyle anymore. I try my best to be a healthy guy, and I'm sick of spending tons of money on ruining my body every weekend. It's really time for me to move on. I guess this is present tense and your question relates to past tense. But I'm at my breaking point now, which is a shame after 10 plus years with most of them this year. Sorry mate. He got too comfortable and his mask fell. Everybody who knew him thought of him to be the sweetest guy. Always so educated, even cute to a point. He looked like a smiling SpongeBob. In reality he was a deep narcissist. Everything he owned was stuff that would be considered by others as the best. For example, if you showed him the second best smartphone in the world, he would consider it utter trash. He would make faces to show how disgusted he was that anyone could find that item good. He actually rather not have a car than to have a common car. Once I bought a brand new Chevy Camaro that I worked my ass off to buy. And he knew I had, and looked at me dead in the eye and said, well, not as good as a Porsche, but it's okay. Used to have a friend like that. One thing I noticed about narcissists, in my experience, is they tend to have these high standards they can't even reach themselves. Nothing you do is good enough for Monsieur. Even if you manage to meet his definition of the best, he will find something about you, even if it's a minor nitpick, in an attempt to knock you down a peg. We didn't talk if I didn't initiate the conversation. Yes, I hate it when I have to carry the whole conversation. I tend to leave friendships when I see signs and/or actions that would consider them a bad person. I'm pretty open when it comes to friendship, but when you cross that line and prove time after time that you are a boss, I bow out. I don't have a lot of time to spend with friends, so I like to spend my time with good humans. Toxic friends are a huge no thank you for me. When I was in my single digits, myself and a couple of other friends were playing in a front yard. Friend and accidentally hit me. An actual accident. I didn't think anything of it and shook it off. I bled a little, but nothing to cry about. Friend B, however, did not like that at all. He proceeded to punch and kick friend A, ending with friend A on the ground while friend B was jumping up and down on top of friend A. I had to cut ties with both of Monsieur friend B because of his actions and friend A because his family moved away shortly after that. She threatened to kill herself when I went to the beach with a couple of friends without her. At that point, I realized how truly toxic she was, and how unhappy I was around her. She was incredibly manipulative and always blamed her poor actions on her poor mental health. I do not miss her whatsoever. She was cheating on her husband for over 6 months. All while she was supporting me after I found out my husband was cheating on me. On top of that, she was making her husband think he was the whole problem, which he may have had his faults, but he was at least trying to fix it by going to therapy with her. Even then, he would show up and she wouldn't.